Camera on. Now. Okay, camera's on. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I've already got it on my front page saying live. Yep. We're flying by the seat of our pants, so don't worry about it. Oh, okay. So wait, what do you want me to go public back onto YouTube, play it up? That's not. Hang on, where's it gone? I did have it. Ah, there it is. Oh, fantastic! Hey! Hey there, Bluey! Oh dear. So yeah, I've got it's up. I can hear us. I can hear the music from the stream coming through. So I think we're good to go. Sure, yeah, absolutely. Just want to make sure, obviously, that the sound is... You don't hear it when I'm playing it, I take it. Yeah, we're all good on that front? Fantastic. As long as that's not coming through, then we're all good, aren't we? Okay. Oh, I think... So I'm just slightly behind on the recording. I think we're good now. I'll put it sort of slightly, I'm slightly behind. But I will turn it down. I think we're okay. First time doing it, folks. Oh, wait, sorry. Dark Magical saying... Dark Magical Man saying you can only hear me and the music. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear? Oh gosh, that's really loud. Can you hear me now, Steve?
Hey, Steve.
Good. 1, 2, 3, we're going. And we're here. Ooh.
Yeah, he says you can now.
Okay, sweet, sweet.
All right, last 10 seconds.
Man, you gotta love seeing that it's gonna be Xbox Play Anywhere. I mean, it's really did change the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy, here we go.
What's first? It's Doom, right?
If it's doing it the order on the card, then yes. But last time, I think every time they've done it, they've just bounced between them.
Okay. Yeah, you think.
So obviously, with the mystery one, the thing that's been said is that it's apparently a like classic JRPG series, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think that's what they were saying. And if that's the case, I think most people have sort of thought, well, the big thing would be, I think, it being Persona 6. But
Oh my gosh! But do you think we see Persona 6 after just getting Metaphor?
I don't believe so. The only reason why I think it'd be fun is because I believe, again, I heard, and this is through Barrett Courtney of Kind of Funny, that the color theme to it, 'cause every Persona game I believe has a color match to it, and Persona 6 apparently is green. So I just thought, oh well, if it's green and it's Xbox, that's kind of cool. But hey B. For me personally, because again it was part of the massive Nvidia leak that happened years back, it's I think the last thing on the list of games that were leaked off that I want it to be the Final Fantasy IX remake. That's a long shot. It's not going to be that, but if it's anything, I want it to be that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. That's my favorite Final Fantasy. I started with 7, but 9 was the one that did it for me. All right, here we go.
Wait, what's
First game.
this? What a part of the showcase is from Team Ninja?
Wait, did you say that?
超えてくもゲームスチーム忍者の安田文彦です。今日は皆様にチーム忍者が長
Maybe they're involved in one of the other games or something.
情報を発表できる機会をいただけてとても嬉しく思います。早速ですがこちらをご覧ください。
Oh,
Our cameras were covering up the
Several
closed
years
caption.
ago, the Dark Dragon, youngest of the Divine Dragon,
Team Ninja?
wreaked havoc across the world. The plot was ultimately thwarted through the efforts of a sole ninja. However, the Dark Dragon's husk remained, and from this husk fell an endless downpour of cursed rain. The abandoned Tokyo continues its battle against chaos to this day.
Sorry, I'm just turning off my phone.
Commencing mission.
Okay, what is this?
Oh my gosh, this looks a lot like Ninja Gate. Oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah.
dude, it's like Ghost Runner.
Wow.
Oh. Dude giving Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, the combat is really, really cool, and again, really fast, obviously. I love the finishes, like the big splash screens are really, really cool.
This is it. Ryu Hayabusa.
Your clan is plotting.
Dude,
Is here.
dude,
This is really sick.
oh my gosh.
Holy crap! Yeah, as you said, like there's definitely kind of almost big boss sort of Wukong vibes going on here. But then again, I mean, that could just be because you've seen it so much recently.
Oh yeah, I actually just finished it. It's because it is Ninja Gate. Holy crap!
Yeah, you got right. You're right.
10年以上大変お待
This
た
is
せしま
coming
した
to Game Pass, dude.
最強の忍者となり
That's sick.
This is coming to Game
ハイ
Pass.
スピードアクション忍者ガイデンのナンバー
That's really
1
cool.
として
I mean, and again, like it makes sense if when you think back to history and stuff, because like wasn't it was it Ninja Gaiden Sigma? Was it called, or maybe it was different in America? I don't know. But over here, it was called Ninja Gaiden Sigma. I believe that came across to Xbox, and then the series then was over on Xbox for a while.
I think so, but I think it was just up there for a little bit.
忍者ガイデン
I
4
don't
と
think
いう
it
タ
was
イト
there
ルを
for
10年以上の
a
時
long
を超
time. I
えて
can't remember
新たに
because I
皆様に
remember
お届けするにあ
downloading
たり
it and
より
then
多くの
it
方に
was
新
like
鮮な気
removed
持
off
ち
of
で
Game
プレイ
Pass
していただ
shortly
ける
after
よ
I
う
want to
新
say,
たな
or
世界
either
を
that
新
or
主
I
人
just
公である
deleted
もう
it
一
and
人の
forgot
少
about
年
it.
役目で体験するという形で
But yeah, I mean that's really cool. And again, like it's a good one to fill out the portfolio as far as like the games that Xbox generally doesn't get as much.
Yeah.
They tend to be obviously more around your Western RPGs and stuff. Obviously, they've been getting into the Japanese market more. They've built up better relationships with people like Square Enix and Atlus. But yeah, Koei Tecmo and Platinum Games and guys like that. That's a really good shout. That's a really good call to kind of broaden the field and pull in a wider audience.
Oh, it absolutely is.
雨が止まない限り東京
Definitely
に
not
安寧は
a
訪れません
JRPG.
No, yeah. So I know, yeah, maybe I heard JRPG wrong.
今作の新主人公ははやぶさと対をなす
But yeah, that's really
You ever
cool.
played any of the other Ninja games
こ
before?
の世界を晴らすため
Only Sigma. That was the only one I tried out, and again, it was sort of my first time trying it out as a series, and it's
これまで
man,
忍
they're
者ガイデンシリーズ
tough as nuts, man. Like I tried it as best I could. I don't even think I finished it, sadly.
呪いや
But hey, look, I mean,
空間のデザインを取り入
if
れ
this is going to play with more modern sensibilities now and stuff like that, again,
が呪いの影響
it'll be interesting to know actually if they've like lent into that factor, like because Ninja Gaiden did have a reputation for being difficult. They were hard games for a long time as a series before even like things like Demon Souls were making their name, and then Dark Souls and all the rest of it from FromSoft. So
部屋に牙を向くように
if these guys are like the OG hard nuts, then like
Yeah.
what to look forward to? Who knows? The one thing I'm noticing right now, it could just be because like maybe we're only seeing one area right now, but like
の体術など
it's interesting that like the color palette seems very kind of like select. Like it's obviously lots of like darkness, and then it's using like blue to white lighting and like bits of red. Like it's very sparse in that nature, which is really cool and
アイ
interesting.
テムなどを用意して
Getting little bits here and there, but maybe like the traditional elements from like
驚いていただけると
the paper lanterns outside of certain buildings, but nearly everything is like metal. This is
Yeah.
it's a really cool futuristic kind of.
新しい主人
It's
公の
very
ヤクモ
cyberpunk.
ははやぶさに次ぐ
Which is what
町人で
honestly is what I thought it was, but like in some weird way I thought some sort of like cyberpunk series when it first showed up. I was like, wait, what? Like I don't know any cyberpunk Japanese stuff unless they're doing like an Akira or something crazy like that. But that's not a game series. Like it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, your call on it being
デザインしています
Ninja Gaiden was just
And
good
the
instinct, man.
The traversal
そんな
reminds
ヤク
me a
モの
lot
前
of
に
Ghost
立ち
Runner.
塞がるのは
The
荒れ果てた
like
東京の治安維持組
That's
織
the first one, isn't it?
黒竜
off
の
of
封印を
everything
守
you
る
just said
友
though,
人島や
it is
現世
the
に
perfect time
蔓延す
to
る
drop a
人
game
柄
like
たる
this,
も
not
の
only
ヨー
as
マ
Xbox but to
そ
expand
しても
into
ち
the
ろん
East
シ
and
リーズおなじみ
we're just
の
reiterating
魔人も
everything you
登場
just
し
said.
ます
But the thing is
また
like
現時点では公
man,
開
it's
してい
so
ま
hard
せ
to
んが
talk while
新
this
たなキャラ
thing
クター
video is
や
going
シ
as
リー
well.
ズファンの方に喜んでいただける
Try and concentrate.
ますの
First
で
time doing a
続
reaction
報に
video,
ご
right?
期待ください
But no,
従
what
来
was
の
I
シ
gonna
リーズ
say?
からバトルスピードをさらに加速させ
Oh
目にも
no,
止ま
but
らぬ
like
スピードで
with
人の
Black
攻
Myth
防を繰り広げることがで
just
きます
dropping and how well it and with that genre
さらに
being
ヤクモ
more
が使える新
commonly
要素
received in
結
a
節
very
忍術
well
ヌエの型を駆使したダイナミックな攻撃によってこれまでから大きく進化した
kind of
一
in the
対他
line
の戦
side
闘を
of
可能にしました
it's mainstream.
ヌエ
That's
の
the word
型
I
で
was
は
looking for.
これまでの
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It took me a while, but I got there. It's a lot more mainstream to play games like this, right? And that was the
Yeah.
thing is like back in the day when I played the first Ninja game, I barely played like the first
1対1の戦闘
mission
における
and
ひと
just
き
I
も健
was
在
like,
で
man,
す
this game's hard, and then I put it
プレ
down
イ
and
ヤー
never
同
came
士
back to
敵も
it.
ガー
But
ド
that
や
was
回避をしてくれ
before
る
I
の
ever
で
even touched
緊
Dark
張
Souls
感の
game.
あるフェアな戦闘
So
を味わうことができ
fresh
ま
out
す
of finishing Black Myth
敵の動
today
きをしっかりと捉えなが
and
ら
watching
一
this
瞬の
trailer, I'm
隙を
like, you
逃
know
さず
what,
に
this
攻
is
撃を仕掛け
perfect.
ていく
Not
こと
only
が重
that,
要で
but
す
you know, again,
ヌ
on
エ
the
の
Game
型によって
Pass. Like,
忍者ガイデンのア
I'm
クションの
already
味わいに
imagining
さら
playing
な
this
る
thing
進
on my
化を感
phone
じられるかと
any
思
and
います
everywhere. But
Oh my god, yeah.
this looks amazing. And that
アクションに
collector's
関して
edition
は手
better
触
not
り
be
バランス調整など
super
細部
overpriced
にわた
because
り
that
日々議論さ
statue
せてい
is
ただき
sick.
会社の
Yeah,
方
that's a
が
that's a
密な
gorgeous
やり
looking
取りをさせ
statue.
ていただいてい
I,
る
yeah,
They give us
本
more
作
info
の
on
主
that.
人公であるヤクモは
yeah, yeah. Hopefully that'll
違う
come
アクションを有していま
soon.
すが
We don't have to wait too long on that because again, with these showcases, is that these games I believe are all meant to be coming out this year, aren't they? So this isn't like, oh, you're gonna have to wait for ages to see anything more. So yeah, that's something else that we got coming hopefully.
That's
See,
See, I hope they do what Dano was saying, like what he wanted with Avowed, where it's just like, just give us a steelbook, give us the statue, you know, if you're gonna give us, if you're gonna do the code, just like sell the premium upgrade, or, I don't know, it just,
Yeah, I'm with Dan on this, and I completely agree. I think if you're going to jump to digital, fine, but give us the option to have something physical so that people can have a shelf of something as a representation. I know people who I heard this somewhere, and then a friend of mine actually did it when I spoke to him about it. He's a vinyl collector. well, sorry, he was a music guy, sorry, and then he became like a vinyl collector. But instead of actually going out and like buying the player to play them, he has them all on a shelf, and then he has a Bluetooth one which is hooked up to like his internet and stuff like that. So he just picks the song he wants to play on it, and then he pulls out the album sleeve and puts it up on like the side to show people what's playing. So he doesn't have to go and like use his actual vinyls or anything like that. They're all still intact. Like they're perfect, you know what I mean? They're barely been touched now because he doesn't need to do it. So it's like, yeah, if people want to still have something to kind of hold physically and use as like a representation of a collection or something that they are just a fan of, whether it's a particular franchise or whatever. I'm absolutely with that. And I know you can get the steelbook for it, but again, I think it's being sold as part of like a collection thing. It's not as if you could buy a copy of the game with the steelbook and it's just an extra $10-15 or pounds. It's, oh no, you have to get the deluxe one, which is like 110 or something like that, and it's like, what? That's just, yeah, doesn't make sense to me.
It's coming fall of 2025. Man, it's gonna be stacked.
Yeah, it's crazy. Again, it's all because of damn GTA 6 and everyone being scared as hell to put their games anywhere, and it's like, ugh, someone pick a date, for God's sake.
I won't be surprised if this game gets pushed back.
I mean, yeah, we saw a lot of it there, obviously, so I mean, there's a good chance it isn't, only because we haven't heard anything about it, and they've, said this, okay, and again, what I'm happy now is, like, we've actually seen a lot more environments as well, because I was a little bit wary that, like, oh, maybe we're only going to be seeing this one sort of place, but actually, we're getting a lot, and again, bringing back Ryu Hayabusa as well as the character, it's very cool. Yeah. Wait, is this like two games?
That was impressive that you remembered his name. I don't, because I don't remember his name at all.
Yeah, I mean it's very cool. It's a great call.
Dude, that was a drag. That was a
There's a lot happening right now, and like you said, it's hard to concentrate.
Oh wait, no, that's Ninja Gaiden. Dude, this was a second game.
Right, that's what I thought. I missed that. There must have been transition. Yeah, so this is. Oh wow, okay.
Oh, so they're remastering the second game. That's not even a remaster. That looks like a remake.
This looks like a full remake. Well, I guess that's why it was. Yeah.
Wow, this is
originally from 2008 as well. And using Unreal Engine 5, yeah, so they've really pulled all the stops out for this.
They really did. And you know what's crazy? Oh my
That's
gosh, it's coming to Game Pass. Today! Oh, sorry, Indiana Jones. I'm gonna be playing something else right now. Oh my gosh, I was like, I'm gonna play Indiana Jones now that I'm done with Black Myth Wukong. I'm gonna be playing this. Holy crap. Hold on. I can't read it because our screens are in the way. Oh no, I missed it. Did you see what they said?
What? As far as it's the year of the ninja and stuff like that. Yeah.
It almost sounded like they were gonna like release it separately. The statue.
Oh, I don't. What were they saying?
Oh no. Dang it. This is why you don't watch reaction videos, people. Because our stupid faces are covering the subtitles. Leave now and never come back.
This is very cool. What a strong start.
Hi, and welcome
to this is it. I've been looking forward to seeing some more of this.
We care about world building. And we treat the setting almost like a character of its own.
Yeah, this is such a strong start. That was the thing everyone was wondering. If you're going with your surprise, like what have you're following the big stuff. You know it.
South of Midnight, our third-person action-adventure game. The story and characters bring a folkloric
wiping the sweat off of his, just freaking typing away.
Southern Gothic themes with a dark
Poor guy.
twist.
We should tell him he can jump in if you can, and at least he can join us
like
in
as soon
audio
as
if
this
you
is
can.
over, like it's gonna be straight to typing away.
Yeah.
I really should be doing a bit, but screw it.
This looks gorgeous as well.
out there? Did you pack everything?
Mama, this ain't my first hurricane.
I love the like stop motion effect.
It's got a beautiful artwork. Oh no. Oh no. Please don't tell me that's me. No, okay, it was their stream.
We got 5 minutes. Let's go.
Oh, good.
Wouldn't be rushed if you didn't.
Don't mumble. Speak on it.
I said we wouldn't be rushed if you didn't waste all
Oh
that
my
time
gosh.
at the shelter.
And now we're just
Now,
Sorry about that,
Eddie.
folks. I was just trying to
I'm
make
just
sure that it
saying.
wasn't on my
Hazel,
end, and I ended up
We might
doing a
need
whole
some
bunch of
help.
screwing up.
I might need some help. While you're out helping everybody else.
Hazel.
Fantastic.
Hazel may start her journey as a typical 19-year-old, but disastrous events will push her into a darkly magical world where she'll learn who she really is and how to tap into evil.
I would be happy if they then announced halfway through this, well, like, we're also doing a series or we're doing a film of this as well. Like, yeah, I've watched that.
The land itself chooses Hazel as a weaver. Someone who can see beyond the surface and tap into
The weaving thing. This is really interesting.
the grand tapestry.
Like, I did watch the little documentaries that, like, they've been doing, I think, a little docu-series on a lot of this stuff, and
Nature and echoes
it's been
of the
really interesting to
past.
hear about where they're pulling all their inspiration from and the people they've been working with about, like, using the local, like, folklore and stuff of,
Through her newfound power,
yeah.
she reweaves these stigmas and mends
this
conflicted creatures she
this is stuff like I have no idea about. This is all very new to me, but it's really interesting.
As Hazel discovers her power, the world gradually shifts into the surreal, revealing that creatures from the old folktales actually exist.
Uh-oh.
You up here, my salvation.
Among them is good old Catfish, the storyteller who becomes both the guide and companion to Hazel across the.
What was that, like, 04?
Oh no.
It
Are
ain't
you
every
getting
day
any
I hear
lag?
about a new weaver such as yourself.
The video keeps freezing on my end.
Oh, really? Yeah, on our thing, yeah, sadly it is.
Help me down.
I'm going to... Sorry, folks. I'm going to adjust the settings, maybe drop the resolution down a little bit. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry about it, man.
Meeting Catfish marks the true beginning of Hazel's journey.
That's just the first time.
Hazel's arsenal and powers
I know,
are designed
right?
around
Okay, we're gonna do
textile
1080p.
crafting and traditional spinning.
Hopefully have a little
Her
bit.
weapons include a spindle
You doing it 4K before?
and a distaff.
Yeah, I was doing 4K. I
Her
was
magic
definitely pushing it
abilities
too much.
manifest with supernatural
Yeah, no.
and lace-like
Well,
patterns.
1080 is absolutely fine.
With mystical elements.
This combat looks so
Hazel
good.
engages with the world through a variety of movement abilities. Those abilities also help Hazel progress on a journey.
And the monster designs and stuff are really cool.
Master new weaving abilities, using them to traverse
But
the world.
they, funny enough, they actually really remind me of like a game that I did reviewed, Adventure to the Wild. Like, there's a lot of kind of interesting similarities in some of the designs for like some of the creatures,
And adapting
Yeah.
to different enemy
which is,
archetypes.
and like the environments as well. But like that's set, you know, here in the UK and you know,
These hates trap Hazel
it's-
in
yeah,
combat until she
very cool.
unravels them.
Wait,
destroying
where is
them
it
in the
set?
process.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I'm sorry, yeah, the game I reviewed, Adventure to the Wild, that's based here in the UK, in like a fictional place. But like, obviously, this is
The slug burrows on the ground and unleashes
sort
devastating
of, you know, is it? Where is it? I'm guessing it's sort of Louisiana.
while the Ravager closes
Okay,
the
yeah,
gates
I think so,
with
yeah.
chilling speed. Hazel
So
can counter
far,
these
the
threats
gameplay is
with
kinda
agile melee
reminding me a little
abilities
bit
to
of-
execute powerful combos, jump attacks,
Giving
and charge
Flintlock
attacks.
vibes.
But close combat is risky and can
I haven't
be
played
definitely
that.
because aints have powerful
It was good.
defensive
I
abilities.
never finished it.
Mastering your magical skills become the
But
key to
I know
gaining
Dano
the upper
really
hand in
liked it.
combat.
Fraser really liked it.
Push, pull,
A lot
and
of the
weave
people from
are
the
some of the spells
Gamers
at your
Social Club
disposal
really
that
liked
give
it.
you a tactical advantage
Yeah.
in the fight. Timing,
No, I like the looks of this. I like how she's, you know,
enemies close to start
you know, she's got all these different abilities that she can use. So she's got like the sort of slowing and you know,
combat
like
seems
push
super
to and
cool.
things.
I like all the different abilities we're seeing.
Spells interact uniquely
Yeah.
with each enemy type.
Like AOE attacks to stun and yeah, exactly. Like the pulling the enemy to her and then using like a huge blast,
Once
or then
they're dead,
like freezing one if there's too many, so you can deal with other ones or whatever.
and setting them free of their corruption.
Cool.
which has
Gotta
the
have
added
the
benefit of providing elbows.
And she's like pulling the cores out of them, which makes me think of Recall.
That's right. You can enhance Hazel's combat readiness and keep on chaining her abilities. As Hazel progresses in
Do you remember that from the
she
Xbox
unlocks new
One?
moves and improved abilities. And you
Wait,
have
remember
to
what
decide
from the Xbox
which
One?
areas to prioritize.
Recall. The
Upgrades will
yes,
change how you
I
approach
love
Yeah.
Recall.
enhancing
I got
area
some stats. Yeah.
Oh, you got the
defining
statue?
push and pull skills. to
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm use our
Oh,
thing,
that's
but like,
awesome.
The combat system is fast
Dude, I
and
love that
responsive.
game.
Built
It was
around
such a
changing
good game.
attacks, lending
I
precision,
really enjoyed it.
unraveling enemies.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those again. If Xbox One had been a better generation for Xbox, then I imagine that could have gotten a sequel.
Yeah. If it was the days
In
of
Hazel's search
Game
for her
Pass, I
mother,
could see
you'll
it
explore
being a little
multiple
more
regions,
successful. Like a
each
lot more
ruled by
people would be
mythical
willing to
beings with
hop
their own
in,
Southern
try it
Gothic
out. They
history.
could brag about the
Absolutely.
players they
Gradually
had,
uncover the
and
backstories
maybe
of
they'd get a
these
sequel
beings,
as
once
opposed
human
to,
or
well, look at
animal,
the sales numbers. We
who were
can't do a
transformed
sequel.
by tragedy.
Yeah,
Their secrets
yeah.
waiting to be discovered. As a
I never
weaver,
finished
Hazel
that
heals
game
these creatures by
because,
collecting fragments of haunted memories.
It
We
wanted
call
me
these
to
echoes,
collect like a
which reveal each
bajillion
creature's
more
past.
cores to get
Hazel
to the
must
ending,
experience these
and I was
echoes
like,
before
man,
she can mend them.
I don't feel like it. I'm just gonna watch a video on YouTube.
Yeah, it was a weird one because when it came out, it was missing one of the key like bots that she had, which was like the traversal one, the tank, which made actually getting around the place much quicker. And that was a big problem for that game when you were just running on these massive wide deserts, and just had to sort of slowly run across them. That was basically it.
Also reflects the uniqueness of each creature.
But yeah,
Distinct mechanics that
this looks great. And again, I love the monster designs. I love these bosses.
These
Those
encounters
bosses look
feature
so
multiple
fun.
phases that rank up in complexity.
And the scale as well. This is it. Like I didn't want to say it because I know that like it's going to pull like what I'm going to say would get like plucked down. Be like, oh, I can't believe you're saying that.
Whether it's
There are moments where I'm getting God of War.
or
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
each of these
there are moments like that where I'm looking at it. It's not as close behind him in the camera. I get that. It's not like how the Arkham series brought in that whole very close behind the over the shoulder camera. It's more pulled back, but those moments where with the bosses and stuff like that, you get that sense of scale. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of that sort of energy.
It seems like they're going to do a really great job. Just from watching this, it seems like their scale is going to be really good.
Decaying buildings
you know,
reclaimed by
that
nature
one
stand moments away
metal-
from a hungry room.
Can't remember what
And
it's
as
called. I want to
Hazel
say it's
delves
metal.
deeper, reality
No.
bends evermore.
Steel.
The history,
Steel
landscape,
Core.
and folklore of the American
I
Deep
don't know.
South
It's
fill
a
our
giant
world, and our
robot
team has
game that
infused
got
the
shown
game
at
with
the
thoughtful
Game of
details
Year
and environmental
Awards,
storytelling,
and there was a beta,
like our
and I
bomb
played
trees
it,
and hate blue
and
torches,
it just
which
felt
are
like
said
a
to ward off evil
third-person
spirits.
shooter game.
The way
and
the past emerges
like
as
you're in a
central
big
themes,
open
which
field
you can
and there's
see through
just
old abandoned
random
buildings and
small
businesses struggling to
houses,
survive.
and I didn't feel
As
the
you
scale.
explore,
You know what I
you'll
mean?
meet locals who stayed
Yeah.
behind even in the
It
face
just
of a
felt like I
hurricane.
was playing
So
any
I'm
other
the
game,
last
really.
person left here.
And it just
Oh,
made
those
me
damn
realize,
hates.
like, have
part
more
of
of
the
an
river's
appreciation
filthy
for
with
games like Final Fantasy 16.
Artistically,
where
we're
they
staying true to our
really
Moody
pull
Compulsion
off the
signature
scale.
style.
And it's
Yeah.
like
This
you
time,
really feel
we're
that
using a
sense of,
handcrafted
oh, shit,
approach
like,
inspired by stop-motion
Yeah.
animation,
Clive,
which allows our
Clive,
team to bring a
his name,
distinct
Clive is,
personality and
like, now
tone into
turned
every
into
prop
this
and character.
ultra demigod.
Because this folklore is open to visual
Yeah,
interpretation,
very cool.
we
Transform
embrace
into
the freedom
free.
to
Yeah.
reimagine these creatures and their stories.
And yeah, like
reflect how they look,
scale in
craft
video
their own
games is
version
like
of
one of the things
fantastic
I love the most when they really are able to drive home that sense of like, oh, this is almost unimaginably huge, whatever it is I'm looking at, whether it's a place or a creature or whatever, you know, that sense of like awe and like, and you know, going into like a little bit of like apprehension and like fear and like vulnerability, like that sense, I thrive off of it.
on Xbox and Steam.
Oh yes, this is one of my big ones for this year.
April
like
8th.
this.
April 8th. Okay,
Mhm.
so we got
a date.
That's a date. I don't remember this game being shown.
The what, Expedition 33?
The Sandfall is what it's called.
Sandfall Interactive is the studio. The game is obscure Expedition 33.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Everyone,
We
This
are
is
Fun4
exciting.
Interactive, and welcome.
Yeah, I'm really amped for this.
We are a small studio based in Montpellier, France, working on our first game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Again, the premise is really interesting.
It's a turn-based RPG.
Yeah, yeah, first game and it looks incredible. Visually, like the gameplay looks fantastic, really kind of
game development actually started
old.
as a solo
It's,
passion.
again, like, and the menus have this great Persona vibe.
With turn-based combat I grew up with, but that fully leverage the latest tech. The fresh
I'm waiting on all of the dates that we get from this to put my name down for the right ones for review.
First, I turned to a programmer I knew would get it.
Imagine what that would look like on the 59.
Guillaume and I started trading straight away,
Oh.
and that quickly turned into trading files back and forth. Soon, I was creating the first prototypes of the reactive turn.
And of course, that's the thing, like, I don't know if they've said anything whilst we've been watching this, if they've said this is all running on
Things really
what?
clicked
I'm
when we
assuming though
did
it's
the
probably
first
going to be
version of the
running on
features.
PCs.
We felt we had something
Yeah,
So-
yeah, because it's Xbox Play Anywhere.
Tom and I went back and forth on each
Yeah. I want to then know, like, well, how is it going to look then on the series and stuff like that as well.
Guillaume and I are both passionate gamers.
And that's going to be the key thing for all of these. Obviously, we see them now as they are. One of the things you don't get is how do they run.
Without hesitation.
You know,
Absolutely,
all the
and
video games.
That's definitely the most
always
concerning thing
starts
when you're
with
talking about a
strong
brand new
creative
studio
vision.
working on their
And
first
we had
game
that
ever.
defined by
You know,
three
Yes.
core elements.
especially when it's an RPG. You can only
A
imagine
story
there's
with great emotional
a
depth.
lot of things
There's
that could go wrong.
Gameplay.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of systems at play. You know, this is definitely budget.
And
You
a
know,
world that is completely
Um,
original, beautiful.
Oh, sorry, I
and
didn't mean to cut
immersive.
you off. Go ahead.
We founded something
no,
on these.
yeah, you're right though. Like with it being their first game, it is obviously something to be wary of. And even with compulsion games beforehand, you know, they've got a nice. I like their previous games of Contrast and We Happy Few, but at the same time,
Great RPG is
We Happy Few definitely had some technical issues. Like that was something that was kind of it had problems with for a while, and it took them,
started with the hook.
gosh, at least a few months to kind of
67 years ago,
clean that all up and get it into a state where people were like, yeah, okay, this is now actually fun to play.
Once a year, the waitress wakes,
so
puts a number on her monitor.
we'll see. You know, South of Midnight, fingers crossed, looks great, hopefully plays
Every
well.
year that number ticks down,
Same with this,
and
you know,
everyone
gosh.
dies younger and younger.
All these
yeah.
games have looked
Expeditions to
incredible.
the Paintress,
It
determined
looks
to fight
amazing.
until their final
I mean,
breath, but none have
solid
ever
year
returned.
lining up
Our
for
story
Xbox.
follows
But you know,
Expedition
one of the
33.
things that is kind of hard not to notice is the fact that there's no Fable at this direct.
We honor your dedication.
Yeah,
I mean, you think maybe they wait till the showcase,
Guillaume and I
but
knew
they
early on that
also
we
this
didn't
is
want
meant
to
to be
focus
a
on
deep
good
dive
versus evil.
unless they
What's
plan on
interesting to
spending
us
their
are
hour
people
after the
who,
showcase
yes, are
on
flawed,
Fable.
but who care deeply about each other.
I mean, possibly, I guess. Yeah, there's always that.
Different perspectives on what needs to be done.
I'm sorry. My attitude is, 2025 is quite possibly. This is my prediction. You put me down for this. That this is quite possibly going to be one of the best years in gaming,
Missing something that
in history of gaming, as it were. When you look at what's happening this year already with the big headlines like GTA 6 and Switch 2, alongside Xbox's current lineup that we're looking at here, and then what PlayStation is likely to be cooking with things like Ghost of Yotei.
In a world like
As you know, the first offering that we've seen, no doubt there's more to come, because yes, we've had some rough news on the PlayStation side over the last few weeks,
and they permeate the story behind
but
the
that's
story.
not everything. We know that they've still got studios working on stuff that we have no idea about yet. So I'm imagining, unless somebody takes a fall, this year could be another golden year in gaming.
The mission is tied not only to the
I absolutely agree with that. I hope Jeff's watched it because they were doing a write-in.
You know that.
And my question for their write-ins was, is 2025 going to be the new best year in gaming? Or is it going to be better than 2023? Or is it going to rival it? And everybody on their podcast was like, nah, there's no way 2025 can come close to 2023. But yeah, I'm right there with you, though. I think 2025 is going to give it a run for its money.
It's not all dark.
With all the games you just stated.
Along the
And
way,
especially
they meet various colorful
Fable
NPCs
comes out on top of
and
that.
recruit
Oh my
Monocle
gosh, come on.
with a friendly but
Yeah, and that's it. Going back to your point quickly about the Fable thing, like if it does come out up this year, they will certainly cement this year as one of the best in gaming. If it doesn't, though, I'm not going to be upset about this year.
No,
you know,
too much going
that's
on.
different. Yeah, that's it. There is already so much to enjoy that I'm not going to spend my time wondering why Fable isn't here if it doesn't show up. And that's, you know, that's the same for a lot of games, because I mean, gosh, Monster Hunter Wilds, and you know, there's so many games. Yeah, that's what you know, you forget, and then you suddenly remember.
Yeah. And the likelihood of most people actually playing all of these games this year is so low. I mean, even people like us who are deep in the shit out here reacting to a developer deep dive. You know, we don't even have the time to play all 8 games in February alone. And not to mention, I'm sure Ninja Game. I'm already gonna let you know. Ninja Game 2 remake is my vote for what we play in February as our game of the month.
I think that's a great pick. I think it's a really solid.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like even on top of that, it's like, man, how do you juggle that with even one other game as far as like Monster Hunter Wilds?
And adds real-time
I don't even know, man. I'm just really glad that Assassin's Creed Shadows got pushed. Oh, don't forget Avowed.
No, man, this is it. This is where, like, again, you know, we're watching an Xbox developer direct, so we're going to stick with Xbox. This is where Game Pass comes in. You know what I mean? Like, how much money has everybody saved who has got their subscription or buys it for the months that they want to have it for these different games that are coming out? You know, if you know that you'll want to play Monster Hunter Wilds and Avowed and, you know, something else maybe, like, you buy Game Pass for, what, 1 month, 2 months? And you've got what?
Formula lies in the menu.
Yeah. I'm paid up for like 6 months, and that, you know, I was able to get 3 months for $30, so that's, I mean, I'm roughly paying $120 a year, and I'm definitely at least playing, you know, more than 2 brand new games a year, definitely way more than that. So, yeah, and the way I consume games is very rarely do I ever actually go back. And guess what? If I am going back to them, it's because they're really old, and I don't even remember what happened in the story. So I don't mind forking out the, you know, 15, 20 bucks it would cost to buy an episode.
Which in our game,
you know, everybody hates on the whole.
Every character has more than 20 unique skills in the skill tree and hundreds of passive effects.
But
they can gain through Lumina.
Yeah, like
it's a bit of mine as well, but don't worry about it. It's not very loud.
Needless to say,
but yeah, like everybody hates on Game Pass for it's like,
and what kinds of build you'll design
or whatever.
that
What's wrong with Blockbuster?
Never even imagined.
I mean, I grew up on Blockbuster. That's how I experienced the Ocarina of Time. That's how I experienced Mega Man on the 64.
In the French fantasy world.
Superman on the 64.
Really excited to design
Oh my gosh.
Every level.
But these sort of things were like gateways to experiences that you otherwise couldn't really have, because most of us didn't have the money to do it. You know, in the same way that, like, yeah, you had your rental shops, and now we've got things like subscription services for it. These are great ways, you know, to at least have paths to playing some incredible video games.
Well, and a lot like, you know, things like Spotify, where it's a double-edged sword, where, you know, okay, our lesser artists are getting known more, but it's also a lot harder to make it in the industry because of Spotify. It's kind of the same thing with Game Pass. Like, we wouldn't know who these developers are at Expedition 33, and now they're getting an Xbox Developer Direct right now, where we're getting to hear from these developers and getting this deep dive on their game, and a lot more people are going to be watching this more than, you know, anything else. If they were to just do a direct on their own, they're going to get a lot more ears anyway, a lot more eyes.
Good eye.
Yeah.
And honestly, this game, I'm just sold on its atmosphere alone.
Yeah, it's incredible, and this is it. What Xbox at least has allowed these studios to do, clearly, not obviously including Ninja Gaiden with Koei Tecmo and Platinum, that's their own thing, but with these games that are going on, clearly every studio has been told, like, yeah, you put the green light. Whatever it is you want to make, like, you make it. Like what we're seeing here with the world map and the enemy designs and the characters and the moves and just this is all so fresh and exciting, and yes, it may be that it's based on, you know, things that we've seen before. You know, you may say like, oh, but it's just turn-based combat with, like, you know, rhythm elements, you know, brought in for extra damage. Like when you see those symbols pop up, obviously that's like that's a follow-up, you know, prompt you want to put in to do more damage or whatever, continue a combo.
Good luck.
This is great to see this stuff coming about more and more, because otherwise you don't see organic growth in design and stuff unless you allow people to play with ideas. If you shut things down to say like, oh, you can't do that because it's been done before, you're not going to see new things. You're forcing people to stifle themselves and hope that somehow something grows from being caged, you know, creatively. You know, people have to play with pre-existing things to come up with new things, and that's how you get your Expedition 33s, that's how you get your South of Midnights, you know. That's how we got Black Myth Wukong, that's how we got, you know, Alan Wake 2. You know, this stuff doesn't come about unless you let it do its thing. You know?
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, these people go out here, create new things, and you're going to have people. April 24th. Man,
Yeah.
April's going to be busy.
It's crazy,
Hopefully
dude.
you can finish South of Midnight on time. And then I bet you anything May. I bet you this is going to be May. If it comes out in March.
Oh my God.
Give us information about music. As soon as they start talking about artists. Just, oh shit. Man, I'm so excited for this.
I mean, with id and Doom, like Dark Ages, like this was not a case of them being given the green light. They told Xbox what they were going to be making.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's a different relationship entirely. There, you know, Xbox are happy they got id, and you know they showed up. I'm like, so what are you guys making? They're like, oh, we're doing medieval Dark Ages, you know, Doom, and they're like, okay, cool.
Priority for us.
Yep, that's it. Oh my God. Decapitations with the shield.
Legendary Doom franchise. It is an honor to
Oh
work
my
on
God,
this
this looks
game,
so
to carry
good.
on its tradition
Just-
of creating all-out,
My God.
groundbreaking levels of fun. So now, we're excited to share with you a look at our most ambitious game yet.
Oh, State Gun.
The Dark Ages.
Here we go. Here we go.
I mouthed the words.
This is a prequel, okay, to 2016's Doom.
Wait, he said it's a prequel?
I think that's what he just said. Perfect entry point to the series, yeah. And if you're a long-time fan, then you'll be proud to see it in a lot of ways to feel the game is to form. So yeah, so is Doom Guy? So are we literally Eternal? Are we literally going with the idea that he is
Set in a cinematic sci-fi
immortal, basically, and live throughout time?
Yeah.
Powerful weapons to unlock.
That's incredible.
To conquer. This is a prequel to Doom.
I don't know if that was a thing from Doom Eternal, because I never finished that, sadly. I found that one too fast, too hectic to play. I love Doom 2016. Yeah, I absolutely adored Doom 2016, but I tried Eternal and it was just too much. The movement in particular, the traversal was just way too hard for me to grasp whilst doing combat. I couldn't shoot and swing at the same time and all that.
The combat.
You know, I could do one or the other.
In Doom Eternal,
Do you know what
felt
would
like
help?
a fighter jet. In Doom the Dark Ages,
If you
you'll
got
be an
good.
iron tank.
No, that is true. That is true.
You should try it out sometime. See how it
works. The one thing I did enjoy that style of combat and stuff in is actually this one. I don't know if you can tell. I'm wearing my Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, hey, that is actually a sick hoodie.
Just like in the classic
Yeah,
Doom games.
I got this when I was working at one of our chains of stores over here. It's just called Game. Our biggest one's just called Game. I used to work there for a few years, and obviously you get like, you know, good bits of, you know, merch and stuff come in. And as soon as I saw that we could order these hoodies, I was like, yeah,
Oh,
Day one.
that is a sick
Yeah.
hoodie. I love that.
it's great.
It's
There's
my
this all the way
style.
up.
I don't got my. I actually was wearing it a little bit ago. I got my tie-dye.
It's
Yeah.
contextual.
Nice, nice.
Did
It's
you
just
just
all the way up as
see
well.
him deflect an orb with his freaking
Yeah,
shield?
yeah.
Blow a guy up.
They're doing it all with the shield in particular. Like they're and like the mace and everything. Like they're just. They're not there just for fun. You know, well, they are there for fun. They're not there for looks. I mean, like they're going into every aspect of this and thinking, oh yeah, kicking's always in the game. You've got to always kick people. You've always got to kick people. Kick people into pits, kick people into spikes. It's like Bulletstorm did that, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was fun. I like Bulletstorm.
I was thinking of Bulletstorm.
This gun, I love this gun. The skull churning, like auto shotgun.
Dude,
this is intense.
Carried his ass. I hope that this game isn't like too crazy fast paced, so you can enjoy it as well.
And it feels amazing.
Oh, I think from the looks of this is way slower than Eternal was already, just by the sheer fact. Just by the sheer nature of you're grounded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not flipping about like he's fucking Tarzan or Spider-Man. He's, you know, I love Doom Guy, believe me, like, as much as anybody can love a guy who doesn't talk and only kills demons. But I like him when he's grounded and he's got a gun in his hand and rage in his heart. That's my Doom Guy.
I'm trying so hard to come up with like a friendly neighborhood Doom Guy theme song.
That's pretty much.
I can't because I'm trying to process the fact that he took that gun and cleared out an entire load of people with just like a handful of bullets.
It's amazing.
Dude, that gun is so freaking sick, dude. Oh my gosh.
Fun to use tools of mayhem. That only the Slayer has the power to.
Yeah, just everything. Like this is great. Having the shield.
And see how these.
How do you like pull stuff across using the shield? That's kind of interesting.
The environments to form the new combat loop for Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah, the combat loop looks really freaking fun.
Yeah. It's just like 5 dudes and he just like shield throw, everyone dies.
I hope they show us a collector's edition.
This would deserve a collector's edition, absolutely. I'd almost want just like a reenactment of the front cover of the original, but him holding like the shield and the mace instead of a gun and a demon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want it to be like
straight up Dishonored teleported. You were saying you wanted a what kind of collector's edition?
I was just saying, like, they should do like a, you know, taking the original artwork from the original Doom cover of him like standing like on top of the mountain of corpses and he's like holding the gun. I think in one hand he's got the demon and he's like staring it down. They should really do that, but like have him holding the shield and like a mace, like and have him all done up with his new fancy cloak and the flying sections and everything. Holy shit, I forgot. Yeah.
That would actually be super sick. If it's anything less than that, I'm going to be disappointed now. Oh, there you go. That solves your problem. So it can be just as fast as it was in Turtles, or you can slow it down. And the parrying, adjusting your parrying time, that is sick. Every game should be doing that.
That's really interesting. That's a level of accessibility that I've never heard of or thought of, and that's really clever.
Dude, talk about scale.
Well, I guess
did you see him beat the shit out of that Titan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it has been in other games actually when I think of it, because I think didn't like the Star Wars Jedi games do that?
Oh, do they? I actually
or something like that. Something similar, I think maybe. There's definitely like options in some of in that series where you can kind of adjust certain things on the bar.
We know that fans of single-player action games expect
I
more
forgot
than
you
just
could
great
ride a dragon
combat
in
to
this.
pull them through the experience.
That's it, yeah.
I don't share with you not just the gunplay, but the world of Doom: The Dark Ages.
Oh.
Your hero's journey will take you to the far reaches of the Doom universe.
I'm going to be somewhat disappointed if they're saying that it's like open world areas.
Forests, dungeons,
keep it living,
hellscapes, battlefields.
No, I think they said that it's still structured with missions or something.
Okay.
And godlike powers every step of the way.
Oh wait, there's like outside the castle walls. Yeah, no, there's like a environment you go out into and everything.
And smash your way through environments full of secrets and treasures.
Okay.
There's always something new.
I'm sort of trying to read the text as I watch this and talk.
Closer look at just one.
Yeah, there's like a whole exploration and
in Doom: The Dark Ages.
Dungeons and mines with like loot at the bottom.
Enemy at the gates and save us city from certain destruction.
Where you go, who you fight. There's like wandering bosses, which objectives you pursue.
Targets and enemy
So it's a little bit
It's a
like
Doom
God
sandbox.
of War in the sense of how
Yeah.
the levels are structured.
No, they've gone full sandbox. It seems like that's the idea. And maybe that there's like missions. Yeah, you go and pick missions to do on the map. But there's still a linear path as far as like the story is concerned.
Okay. See, if I can play it linear and I have the option to go off and do the stuff, I'm going to go off and do the stuff. Honestly, I'm going to do it all, no matter what. But it's something about the way it's presented. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going on a linear path, I'm like, oh, I can quickly go off this path and do this thing real quick, or I can quickly go off this path and grab this treasure chest real quick. Then it's going to be a lot less overwhelming. I'll feel like I can tackle it a lot easier. But when it's just like, hey, here's a sandbox, do whatever you want, I'm like, why don't you tell me what you want me to do?
Adventures will be composed by the award-winning team at Finishing Move, providing you with a metal soundscape that's loaded with guitars, medieval vibes, and pure adrenaline. You'll feel like you're expanding the legend of the Slayer with every mission you complete. And speaking of that legend, the story of Doom: The Dark Ages, like everything else in the game, is big. It's a summer blockbuster event with everything on the line.
Wow, okay, that's disappointing. I really thought they were just like, oh, it's going to have a really good composer. Like, okay. I'll just have to take it for your word.
The balance of power between
Yeah, looks like it.
is shifting, and time is running out.
But hey, at the end of the day, I'm just, this looks incredible.
It's okay. I'm down for it.
There's probably like a whole cast of characters now as well.
The likelihood of me not knowing who it was going to be was pretty high anyways.
Directly into the Doom 2016 Slayer's Testaments. It's an action story worthy of the Slayer's
Finish it off with a date, and then we're good to go.
Come on. Show us.
We've got 10 years of making modern Doom games together.
10 more years.
And we've done better with every game we've made.
The hope with all this, the goal, is to give players an experience that's as fun to play as it was to make. And make something that's good enough to become the best game id has ever made.
Ooh.
But that
Nay,
is for
you're
you.
cool, man.
When Doom: The Dark Ages releases.
May 15th.
Okay, alright, let's go. May 15th. Let's go.
Damn.
But no collector's editions for any of them, which is kind
Nothing.
of a bummer.
Oh, nothing said yet. You never know. Here we go. What's this? What's this? Oh, we're just doing recap. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I think that's a
May
show,
15th.
isn't it? Because it was just 4 games total.
Hell yeah.
So we've
happy
got
with
May
that.
15th Doom,
Center of a medieval war
and
against hell.
April 8th.
All of
Eight,
Hazel's
yep,
powers
yep.
are designed around
Just after midnight, and then it was April 24th.
yeah.
Expedition 33.
And unraveling
And then fall for Ninja Gaiden.
Okay. And then right now for Ninja Gaiden 2 Remake.
Yeah. They did another Shadow Drop.
Do you think Ninja Gaiden gets pushed back, or do you think they're gonna stay true to this release?
I think they're going to stay true to it. They're giving themselves till fall, you know what I mean? They've
Yeah,
got until
that's-
October. They're going until October. We're still in January. If that's what we're seeing already, yeah, I think we're getting that.
I mean, right there, I mean, the games alone, just in this developer showcase, or developer deep dive, is worth the investment in the Game Pass alone.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Even if you just wanted to go on base, like, monetary, like, oh, each one of these would be $70, of course, like, yeah, already off the top. But then you look at what we're getting. Damn. Xbox, yeah, this year, this is a great year. This is a great lineup.
I'm going to switch over. Hopefully this doesn't mess everything up.
Exactly, yeah. It's still definitely Expedition 33. That captured me in such a big way, just because of the setting, the characters, the visuals, and the story, the combat. And having just played Metaphor ReFantazio, so that was my first introduction to that style of the menu systems and things like that. That's still my number one. But then they're all just one after the other in that respect. I'm not like, I don't care about any of those things. I want to play all of those. I'll get Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, downloaded now. See how long that takes. And then, I'm sure they'll offer the pre-install for the others, So once those are up, I'll be playing South of Midnight as soon as I can, and we've got about 3 weeks or so. It was 2 weeks. Tight. Okay. Try and. I don't know. I don't want to rush that though. You know what I mean? I don't want to rush a game like that. I want to enjoy all of these, and that's why I'm also saying, as far as us, fingers crossed. If we were to, be able to get anything like codes for these sort of games, I want to be able to know that I've got time to enjoy this as much as I plan to, would love to review it. You know what I mean? So it's I wouldn't want to sign myself up for all of these, because then I'd be rushing through all these amazing titles and not actually having the time to think there's just play one of them for 2 months, or whatever. That's what I'm looking for. What about you, man? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I think they're going for. It seems as if they're probably going for not necessarily a fully just streamlined game where it's going from point A to point B and that's it. But I imagine what they're maybe going for is a sort of, there are different places you can visit and you can experience those. They showed off quite a few of the different environments and stuff like that. And obviously then the world map and things. I don't think that's there to then imply oh, you're going to be playing this for 100 hours. This is another Metaphor. This is another, Final Fantasy. I imagine this is going to be closer to, again, it depends how much time you want to give to those sort of games. The sort of thing I would put it maybe next to something like Kingdoms of Amalur back from the 360 or something like that. Back when we were getting those sort of games, which were mid-size, AA, but just as sort of full of mechanics and design and things like that as any AAA was. It just meant that they were okay, well, we can't do a world as big as Skyrim, but we can make a world as big as this, and let's work with that. And I think that's the right approach. I think that's a bigger conversation as it were for an industry right now, which is currently dying from the inside, basically. As studios disappear and games get cancelled and people get laid off, but then on the edge all around, all you hear is record profits and hey, everything's rosy. It's one of those where it's maybe if we were to think about doing this sort of stuff where we're making games which are smaller in scale, that would maybe lend itself more to these things not costing as much, and then we can actually get back to games which are more focused. And not every game has to have every single type of mini game in it. Like, hey, look, I'm a fan of a fishing game. I don't need a fishing game in a game where I'm meant to be focusing entirely on like I wouldn't expect a game like Pacific Drive to add a fishing mini game to it. It doesn't need that. That's not what you're there to be doing. It's about the exploring the environment and surviving and understanding and putting together like a puzzle and things like that. But you could add obviously the sort of management and maintenance of your vehicle is a big part of it, and it kind of acts out as like a little mini game in itself as well. But it's like, this is something that does make sense. It ties cohesively into the design of the game and makes sense. It doesn't take you out of thinking like, why am I playing darts, or why am I petting animals when I should be worrying about I'm in a war field, I'm in a war zone or something like that. Like, this isn't what I should be doing right now. This is breaking up the flow. So I imagine they're going to probably cut back on stuff like that. And again, as much as moving on to like something like the Doom Dark Ages, as much as they've decided like, hey, we're going in a really different direction here, where we are going to go sandbox, I don't think that then means you're going to be going to weird places to play silly mini games. It's going to be missions. It's going to be exploring dungeons. It's going to be slicing through and shooting through waves of different types of demons with all crazy gear and your shield and your mace and all this stuff. And you'll be too caught up with what's kind of happening right now. Yeah, exactly. You won't be wanting to play weird little side things. You want to be doing this thing that you're currently doing right now in other places against other things with different stuff. That's what you want in a game like that. And I think that's a really cool approach. And I think going sandbox is definitely not something that people should be necessarily worried about. I am very much an optimist. If people haven't gathered that already, when it comes to things, look at my review scores in general and stuff like that. I tend to play optimist. If I'm going to score between something and something, I will teeter upwards, because hey, people tried here, and if it's a good idea that doesn't quite make it, it's still a great idea, and I want to see it come through. So in this respect, Doom Dark Ages sandbox, yeah, let's see what that's like. I want to experience that, and if it doesn't work, I swear to God, if they shut id, if they even attempt to shut id would probably just like mutiny and just leave, and like people would be like, but what about the contract? And like, what contract? And set on fire? Yeah, exactly. That's it. They're just like, we don't need you. Yeah. 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 I do go. Mm. 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 Yeah. It's tricky. I think, yeah, when we're so used as well to getting the numbers of these things from everybody else. In general, obviously not everybody does. Like, Nintendo's pretty, pretty stingy with their figures on things in general, except for their console figures, console sale figures, obviously. When it comes to Xbox and their games, I expect that because they're so focused on it being about it's the Game Pass subscription. We don't care where you're playing it. We've made this abundantly clear now. If you haven't got it already, you can turn on your TV soon and there'll just be a thing there saying play Xbox. Game Pass is here already. It's on the TV. You didn't even ask for it. It's there. First month's free. Got a controller lying about? How about this? We'll also pack a crazy looking, TV remote with it up. Turn it sideways. Guess what? Xbox controller. Whatever dumb thing you want to do. I don't care. It's there for everybody basically to get access to. And so I think what they're trying to do, and now we're finally maybe with 2025, and we've seen effects of it in the past over the years, we're now finally seeing them fulfill the promise that was, we are making a service where you are going to be receiving quarterly amazing AAA experiences surrounded by a library of other games, fresh, new, day one releases as well, coming to Game Passes alongside classics that you love, big franchise libraries, a variety of genres. If you can't find something that you're interested on Game Pass, frankly, unless you're really, really niche, and it's like these sort of games wouldn't work on a console necessarily, like a lot of RTS stuff obviously doesn't come across. But otherwise, like, if you can't find something on Xbox to play, I think you don't know what you want to play. Because, like, there is so much there, and it's always changing. It's always getting new stuff, and it's as I said earlier, it's the perfect kind of. Well, I say perfect. It's not perfect. There's always things that can be improved with everything. Right now, it is a great way to get access to a whole bunch of games and try out these new experiences that otherwise, right now, would find it really hard to get themselves made on their own. Expedition 33 wouldn't be coming about if it wasn't getting things like the backing of Xbox and the day one, probably, the deal and stuff like that. Like, they got a bag from that, no doubt. Absolutely. And that's the money you were talking about, obviously, where they're like, we want to see this do big numbers, on Game Pass. And not because we needed to do, like, selling of consoles, but we just expected to bring more people to the service. And that's the job of these games. It doesn't matter because there are new people joining it every day, hopefully, as far as Xbox is concerned, if you're playing exec here, they want the numbers to keep going up. And it doesn't matter if they're coming from South of Midnight. It doesn't matter if they're coming from Doom. It doesn't matter if they're coming from Avowed. It doesn't matter if they're coming from Halo. They're not. I don't think they're hedging their bets in that way anymore. I think they're hoping that they can get it to a place where it's just about Game Pass. And hopefully, yes, you're right, there is something to worry about maybe sometimes when it comes to the lack of visibility with some of this stuff. Avowed, as you said, is a good example of that, where it does feel like the marketing's being somewhat short. But it doesn't feel like many of these games are getting a lot of marketing. Sony and Nintendo are the ones who do a lot of marketing for games, and other, third-party, publishers and stuff like that. Yeah. Ubisoft, Activision used to do that. So, they still do sometimes, but in general, like Xbox, I don't know. They just, again, that, I don't think they've ever really had that down in a big way. They've relied on big franchises in the past, their tentpoles, to prop up Xbox for so long now. And after all these years, finally, things like Halo have suffered. Not everybody's a car guy for Forza or girl for Forza. And Gears is a series that has sort of gone up and down. It was always up, and then it sort of went down a little bit when it moved to this new season for some people. I enjoyed it. It's actually the ones how I got into the series was playing the more recent ones, and then went back and played the originals. And so to see E-Day being the next one, I'm like, that's the best approach for that series. You know, I think that's the right approach. You know, for Gears, I think it needs to go back. Not because I'm like, oh, you know, go back to the glory days. It's because that I think is where it's going to be at its strongest. And then it means that these other games will hopefully flourish. You know, and and this is why I was creative and stuff. Oh, sorry. Where did it freeze? Sorry. I can't. I was on a roll. Sorry. All I'm saying is that basically, like, Xbox Game Pass as a service, as a system that Xbox uses, allows Xbox to give the studios they have the flexibility to make whatever the hell they want. Hopefully, if they don't work, that's when it becomes scary, obviously. But you run a better chance with a project and an unknown quantity of letting it do its thing than trying to premeditate what it's going to do, how it's going to do if you decide what it's going to be beforehand. You know, that's kind of what the PlayStation situation is with all the live service stuff. That's a whole thing I really want to talk about at some point in particular. It's just, frankly, in my opinion, spoiler alert, quite possibly the biggest blunder the PlayStation's made in its entire history is what's just happened with all these live service games. I genuinely believe that. I stand by that. PlayStation 3 launch was pretty rough, but PlayStation 3 is still fantastic. But the actual, like, what's happening right now with what we're seeing with all these live service games, and what was it, like a dozen of them being made originally in development? I think it was something crazy like that. You know? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, more than enough to cover however many flipping genres you wanted to try and make all these for. As I said on the podcast, how are you trying to build all of this up and have them all be successful? They can't be. It's an impossible goal. I think with the Xbox Game Pass thing and what Xbox are offering here with the games we've just seen today at the showcase, at the Developer Direct, and what we know is coming with Avowed and Fable and gosh, no, how many other games they've got in development? You know, there's no end. We still don't know what Double Fine's making. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. You know, we don't, yeah, you know, it's crazy. I just got a message. Sorry for you. I just got a message from Steve saying he can't hear you on YouTube. Sorry, that was a while ago. I should have checked that. Yeah. A bit late on that one. Oh no.
Hey, so in this video we're going to see how to fix the OBS Studio failed to enable.
And
it's a learning opportunity, everyone.
It really is. Hopefully you needed to know some things about... Oh, that's why. Okay. It's because I switched how... I had different scenes on here. So when I switched from the Developer Direct into the second, I didn't have my microphone plugged in, and it was just running off of desktop audio. So they could hear our Discord chat, like you coming through the Discord, but they couldn't hear me, which is also reminds me I had you turned up really loud, because I'll turn you back down a little bit so I'm not blowing up people's ears. Yeah, I got like multiple. Okay. All right. So now we're back. So everything that I said before, I'll tell you word for word all over again.
Yeah.
I can't.
Verbatim.
Well, I was just responding to what Harry was talking about as far as the Xbox, future goes. And I was just saying how I think the dominoes are finally starting to fall. I feel like when it comes to Phil Spencer's vision and how he shared with us back when, what was that game that flopped super bad? The vampire game.
Redfall.
Redfall. When Redfall flopped, and he was talking about, man, he's like super depressing time right now, but I'm telling you, we're so close to this future. I can see it. It's so close. You guys are getting these games every month, all throughout the year. That's our goal. And then they came out and they tried with the year of when they had the showcase where they're like, hey, we're going to show games that are only coming out within a year. And none of them came out within a year. And, COVID and stuff. And I think it just kind of left everybody with a sour taste in our mouth. Like, are we ever really going to see these dominoes fall? Are we ever going to really see this vision come to fruition? And after watching that showcase is the first time that I'm like, oh, I think we're finally seeing it. We've got Sniper Elite this month. Next month, we've got Avowed. The month after that, we've got, something was just announced for March. What was it?
Wait, just at this or?
I thought it was at this. No, I feel like we got something.
No, that was May, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah, we got.
No. So can we check the dates? Check. Yeah. Was it Doom in May? Yeah.
Yeah, Doom was May, and then we got 2 games in April. I'm sure they were probably trying.
8th and 24th. South of Midnight first on the 8th, and then we had Expedition 33 on the 24th, and then Doom on the 15th of May.
So I bet you South of Midnight they were trying to get that in March by chance, but anyways, you get my point. Like they got all these games lined up all the way up through May, and I mean we're talking big games that are going to take up a lot of our time, and then after May you go right into June, which is when they'll have their showcase for the second half, and then we'll know about what we're going to be playing on Game Pass throughout the rest of the year. But I'm just excited to see how it all plays out. I agree with everything you're saying. I think that this does give the opportunity for these developers to just kind of do their own thing. They are bringing people to Game Pass, and one of the things that I heard the other day on Kind of Funny that I really was like, oh, that's a really, really good point that I can't believe isn't being talked about more. Was Blessing was talking about how I don't even think, or maybe it was Greg, I can't remember, that the console wars have been won. The console wars are over. PlayStation won that. Fair, like plain and simple. They definitely solidified that in the last generation. They've definitely gone into this generation still on top. But we're not talking about consoles anymore. I think PlayStation needs to be worried about PCs now. I think, and I think that is where they're looking. And I think, we saw years ago in an interview with Phil Spencer at some kind of shindig. I can't remember what event it was, but he was talking about in that interview. He's like, oh, no, we look at Apple as our competitor. And I think he listed Sony as their number 3 or 4th in their competition. But anytime they talk about console wars, like Sony, of course, or Nintendo, my bad, I misspoke. But, so with that being said, it's like Xbox is everywhere. And they are pushing Xbox Game Pass. They're not pushing consoles anymore. So, you are already where the next winner of the next console war is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, they're already on PC. They haven't changed in price. It's still $10. Per month on PC. So, I mean, people can buy a PlayStation and still be an Xbox user. And I think that's what I know one guy who's wanting to help with the Gamer Social Club. He's that way. He's like, I'm really glad that Xbox is doing all they're doing because he really misses Halo. He really wants to play Halo Infinite, but he chose to buy a PlayStation 5 because that's what all his friends had. So now he's like, hey, I'm really glad that I have this opportunity to be able to play Halo on my computer now and stuff. But he's got a Mac, so he's like, it can barely run on it.
Jesus Christ. So, he's not doing something favors.
Gotta get a Fire Stick now.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, it is a Xbox is so many different things now, and to carry on that kind of console war analogy sort of thing, it basically, as far as I'm concerned, the console war was, we had the three giants all battling it out on the field. Earlier on, Nintendo and Red decided, you know what, you guys can fight it out amongst yourselves. We're going to go to this country over here, aka handheld. See ya.
Yeah.
We already own this island.
Yep.
You guys, PlayStation, you tried having a go. You got up onto the beaches with the PSP, and then you did the Vita. Yeah, sorry about that. Maybe leave it to us.
Hey, who knows? The success of the PlayStation Portal will show them that, hey, there's a market for the Vita too.
They won't do it. I don't think so. I don't think they would. I don't think they would do that. I think this is what I mean. Like, I think what's happened is you have Nintendo do this where they've sailed off into the sunset to go to this lovely island, which they have plenty of people hanging out on because, hey, everybody wants to be on Nintendo Island. And then you've got Xbox, PlayStation duking it out for getting really tired of each other, bashed and bruised, and eventually Xbox starts to feel the fatigue and starts to buckle, and they go, you know what, sod it, you guys have this, we're going to go over here where we're going to do this whole play anywhere thing. And PlayStation won the battle. They stayed on the land, they stayed on that central battlefield, and that's theirs now. But that just means that everyone's just gone off to thrive then in their own little place. They're no longer in direct conflict with one another. They'll come across each other. There'll be skirmishes at sea, on the PCCs, as it were. But otherwise, Xbox isn't looking to go head to head with them on that same field anymore. I don't think. Yeah, and I know they talk about hardware, but I think they're just doing that as a part of like, hey, there's a large console audience who will not shift to PC. We have to keep them with us. This is the way to do it. Eventually, more of them will move across onto our other services when they realize it's actually cheaper again to not have to buy the console and just, hey, it's on your TV already. Here's the Fire Stick or whatever it might be. That's their goal in the end, and that's why they just need to keep focusing on the numbers for Game Pass. That's why we've just talked about a bunch of games that are only coming out until May, as opposed to a year. They were talking about a AAA game every quarter. We just have one every month.
Yeah.
Practically, like if you want to spread them out, if they were to spread them out over, a bit more, if we could have one now, we could have then have one in February, then March, then April, then May. It wasn't going to be how it was because that's not how game development works. But that's something beyond what they promised originally. And okay, it's not Halo and it's not Gears of War, but these are not low. These are not indies. These are not AA games. These are big AAA titles that will take up your time and would otherwise be worth $70, £60, whatever it is for each one of them at launch.
And we were never going to see Gears of War, Halo every year or every other month. Or whatever. That was never going to happen. And honestly, I'm glad. Let's keep Halo and Gears special. Like, when the next Gears game comes out, that is going to be a special event. Like, the whole world will stop, or at least my little world will stop, just to be playing that game. Everybody's going to be talking
exactly
in my circle.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be big. It's going to be massive. Obviously, yeah, it will be big. And people forget that there are a lot of other titles outside of Halo and Gears and stuff like that which are already big, and Xbox have. And yes, they will be on other platforms. But how does that affect? How does that affect you?
Please, honestly, I might be one of the few people out here who's begging for Halo and Gears of War to be on PlayStation. I want more players. Bring us more players. Yeah. Keep the thing alive. These are live service games. Halo Infinite is a live service game. Gears of War E-Day is going to be a live service game because there's multiplayer in it. Keep it alive. Keep it going longer. I want to see massive player counts. I want to see I want to hit the top of the sales chart on PlayStation with an Xbox Studios game. Come on. Why is that a bad thing as a consumer of something you love? I just don't get it. I do understand the argument of well, keep Xbox special. I want to feel like, hey, I've always been an Xbox person and this is my thing as a Halo person. But I feel like 2025 we're kind of past that period, and honestly, that is one thing that I'm okay with leaving behind when there's so many other things I would much rather be leaving behind. That's not
Absolutely
left behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we want all of them to do well.
Yeah.
Because competition is good.
Yes. Yes.
We want people to succeed. The more they succeed, the better it is for us. There is a loop. There is a feedback loop. Obviously, there's going to be issues along the way, and there's people obviously who it will benefit more than others. But the idea that if Xbox were to have crumbled after the last few years and like that because of things like Redfall and such, that would not be something to celebrate. It would only be bad for the industry. In the same way it would be if it happened to PlayStation or Nintendo. If Ubisoft were to disappear, that's not a good thing.
No.
Yes, they may have made some games that you didn't enjoy, or they may have done some things in the games that you didn't like. That doesn't mean that we should lose a whole publisher, or even just a developer. It doesn't matter. Like, when they leave this industry, we are lesser for it. Yeah. And thus, if it means putting the games onto other platforms in order to keep these things going, because these games are more expensive to make, they have longer cycles for development. You've got to find it somewhere, and you don't want it to come from any other way, because it's going to end up being just predatory microtransactions and breaking up games into chunks, in tiny little chunks. I know I spoke before on the podcast about, I'd be happy to buy Call of Duty if it meant I could buy the multiplayer and the campaign and the zombies separate from the multiplayer. But that's because that game's already made itself into chunks. Yeah. They did that years ago. That makes sense to me. Whilst if you said to me like, oh yeah, you can buy Halo in chapters.
Yeah, it's like, no.
No, thank you. No, I don't want that. No, give me a Halo campaign. I want a Halo campaign. And that's the way it's delivered. It can be in an open world environment like they did with Halo Infinite. It can be linear missions. The same way the Doom's gone from the linear missions to the sandbox. I think this makes sense to me. But don't piecemeal it. Don't do that.
I'm imagining that Halo 2 mission where he's grabbed the bomb and he's flying through space and he's like about to hit the other ship and then like stops. Yeah. It's like to access this next mission. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Pop-up window. Halo 2 is a trash game that never popped off in that reality. Yeah. Can you imagine? Jesus Christ. Gosh. That would have been bad. Yeah. But I don't know how long we want to go for, but obviously we should probably like finish talking on the showcase at least, or I keep calling it the showcase, Developer Direct. Yeah. I gotta. Are we going to do ratings and stuff like that? Because this is our first one. We're kind of establishing a lot of the stuff here. You know what I mean? As much as this is a kind of a practice run. How do we want to approach it? We can obviously revisit it in the future, but this time around, how do we want to scale it? Do we want to do 1 to 10? Do we want to do 1 to 5? Do we want to do a letter grading? Do you want to do a certain number of decapitated demons? Like, what do you want to do? I'm easy. It's about 100 decapitated demons. Gun that like blows out. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's just say out of 10, because that's just where my mind always goes. Is that cool with you? Absolutely. All right. Yeah, absolutely. We do like our review score. Do like the review score, like the games we do when we cover them. Yeah. Or do you want to keep? Yeah. Let's just do that. Like keep it to our regular review score. Do you want to do half, or do you want to do 1 through 10, no 0.5s? How do you want to do it? I'm cool with doing 0.5s. Okay. Yeah. So I'd say. I know. Do you know what you'd already give it? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Shoot. Yeah. No, I give it a 9 out of 10. Damn. I would absolutely give this a 9 out of 10. Yeah. I was already expecting good things from the games we knew about. The Ninja Gaiden surprise, the fact that it was a twofer with a shadow drop, and Ninja Gaiden 4, those may not be a series that's near and dear to my heart, but I recognize game. Like you have to pay respect when someone puts on a show like that.
The format is already brilliant. There's nothing that needs to change. I love the way it bounces around. I love the fact that we get so much from the developers themselves. You get so many of the different team members in front of the camera talking about their specific thing. You hear the passion, you see the passion. You really get into it with each studio, which is so important. I love that. I really, really love the fact that we highlight the actual people making these games, because they are people behind these games. And I think that gets forgotten. So good stuff. Really happy about that. And then the games themselves, with the Doom, the Dark Ages, with the South of Midnight, and with the Expedition 33. Like, yeah, this is, I don't know. As I said, Final Fantasy IX Remake is literally the only thing that otherwise would have made me go like, oh, 10 out of 10, we're done. Like, I will go home, like, we're done here. Yeah, so close. But no, like, I mean it, like, though, generally, like, I think, 9 out of 10, it's near perfect at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Hi, Bobby. Honestly, I was going to say 8, and then I was sitting there thinking about some of the other, oh boy, don't knock over all my cords. I was thinking about, but I was thinking about all the previous developer directs, right? And how dull and boring they would get, and very like, oh, hey, here's the next Civilization game. Here's a real live mace. Like, oh, cool, right? That's funny, right? But like, that's not the stuff we want to see. And the thing that I took from that, even though we were talking and didn't hear everything they were saying, I could tell, like, anytime I was starting to pay attention to the words that was being said, it was like, oh yeah, we're good. They were saying things that were actually relevant to the game, and things I wanted to know about it. Things that were like, okay, here's the skills, here's what your experience is going to be with this game. All right, on to the next one. And the fact that they did, I thought it was very ballsy to come out showing your hidden cards right away. You don't ever get that at showcases or developer directs, where it's like, okay, here's all the big surprise. Now we're going to talk about all the things we've already told you about. It goes to show you, like, we know what we got. And
exactly.
And the thing is I stayed hyped. It was extremely hype watching that Ninja Gaiden stuff, and all through it was like, oh man, this is awesome. Every single game they showed. So I'm in agreement. I think it's absolutely a 9. And the only reason I say that over an 8 is, like I said, the information that was given to us was what we wanted. We got release dates. I'm okay with getting a fall window for Ninja Gaiden.
Absolutely.
I didn't even know about it, so I'm totally good with that. And
hey, 4 for them and 1 for today.
Exactly. I like, if you're not okay with that, like, okay, come on now. But
come on, exactly.
But
what do you want?
But I think the thing that I'm walking away from this developer direct with the most is the fact that I'm like, okay, I'm going to be excited for the next developer direct. They've shown they know what they're doing now. We've seen them evolve these directs and really get to a point where it feels like a miniature showcase a little bit. No, that's not what it is, but it works just as well. What it is and I this is gonna sound real console worry, and I don't mean it that way, but
here we go.
At least I know what a developer direct is, as opposed to a state of play. Because anytime a state of play comes up, we all go off the rails with our expectations and expect to see the next Ghost of Tsushima. We expect to see, which we did in the last one, or we expect to see this, that, or the other thing. But yes, while we saw the next Ghost of Tsushima and the last state of play, we also got Concord, the state of play before that. We also, and then I feel like it was the state of play before that we didn't really get much of it. We got mostly VR stuff. I'm wanting to say, don't quote me on that, but so you never know what to expect from it, to the point where Sony had their showcase and we were like, that felt like a state of play. So are you always trying to pull off a showcase and a miniature showcase? Because sometimes a state of play feels bigger than a showcase. So at least I'm at the point where it's like Developer Direct is a unique thing in and of itself, and Xbox Showcase is something else entirely, which is why like while we were watching it, I don't know how the volume is or if anybody heard me, but it's like while we were watching it, it like occurred to me. I'm like, oh, of course Fable's not going to be here. It's going to get its own 20-minute, 30-minute deep dive after the showcase because it is the of Xbox. So
absolutely, if Xbox has if Xbox has any sense when it comes to Fable, they give it the exact same treatment they gave Starfield. 100%. If they do not, if we don't see that sort of treatment from it, either we should be worrying, or Xbox are now just being mismanaged, frankly, because that's just insane. Like Starfield was a new IP that you had a lot of like big energy behind because it's Bethesda and Todd Howard and all this sort of stuff. But this is Fable. This is one of Xbox's. This is one of the forgotten pillars of Xbox. You know what I mean? Like this was alongside Halo and Gears and Forza. This was one of the other ones that carried on. We had 3 of these, the good ones. We don't talk about the other ones. But that is another franchise that Xbox lent on. It was one of the ones that kept it going through the 360 and everything like that. And so to see it come back is a massive deal. So if we do not see it being given the same level of attention and frankly prestige to a certain degree as something like Starfield, who's a newcomer, then I'm going to be like, where are your? Then I'm going to ask the same question you just asked earlier when talking about what are they expecting from these games, and then I'm going to be like, what are you expecting from these games? Because you're giving the wrong kid attention. Like it should be him, that one, not this guy. But at the end of the day, as you said, you're a 9, I'm a 9. I think it's a 9 out of 10, absolutely. The only thing that will get me to a 10 is frankly when I'm out of my chair crying, looking awful and knocked off my camera and all the rest of it. Then it's a 10. Otherwise, this is an incredible 9 out of 10, which I think everybody should be happy about. And we got a game today. Yep. We're getting 2 games in just 2 months' time, and then Doom in May.
Oh my gosh, Doom's going to be so great. I'm so
come on.
Oh my gosh. Like, I'm so glad that this was one of our. Calm yourself.
He loves it.
It's just the funniest thing that he can see his feet on the camera. But,
hey man, Doom Guy can't see his feet. You got some up on Doom Guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
You can't see his feet.
No. I'm glad that this was one of our first reaction videos. I don't think we've done a live reaction video before, but I'm glad because it easily kept me hyped. I didn't fake any of that hypeness. I was genuinely excited for all that stuff.
All the technical issues can frankly be ignored because the show was so good itself. If we were screwing up, it didn't matter because people were probably just paying attention to what was being shown.
100%.
So they're fine.
100%.
Exactly.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, A star.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, I haven't been able to see the comments or anything. I didn't even see the messages until Harry told me. So thank you all for watching. I'll respond to y'all later. But we will see. Friday night, y'all. Fantasy Critic. Haven't decided if we're going to do it live yet. We might record it and then share it over the weekend. But we are going to be recording a Fantasy Critic episode this weekend. This is our news episode of the week. So me and Harry are going to talk a little bit of fun projects we got scheming up for y'all.
Exactly.
But we'll share with you as soon as all that stuff's written in stone and Moses comes down off the mountain to tell you what's on the stone.
Big Phil comes down with all the news, and we hear all about the games.
That's right.
Yeah.
Until then, y'all. Peace.
Take care, guys.